Hi guys, Joe Protocol here, back for another video, and this time I'm going to take you through how I make and create a typical warm, heavy sub bass. To demonstrate this, I'm going to be showing you how to do this in two different synths, one being the Moog Minitaur and one being Massive X from Native Instruments. Now I've used both in my time to create this warm subby bass line, even though my go-to now is the Moog Minitaur, because I just feel like being an analog synth, it has that extra level of depth to it. But the Massive X, if you don't have an analog synth like this, then it's a very, very good alternative, because I used it in many tracks which I've released. So I'm going to walk you through the kind of process a little bit, what settings I use, and just show you exactly how I do it. And in the link below, you'll find two downloadable files. One export from the Moog Minitaur and one from the Massive X, so you can use them yourself and do a little comparison if you want. Right, so let's not waste any time, let's get straight into the video and I'll show you how I do this. So here we have the Moog Minitaur control interface for the physical unit, which I have on the desk right here. You can't see it because it's out of shot, but it's a desktop synth. It's really not very big, so if you wanted something for your home studio, this is a perfect little candidate for this type of bass line. So let's start with, first of all, with how it sounds. So there we go. Let's walk through how I make this sound. So oscillators, I have these two buttons lit up, so I'm running two square waves, but the saw wave also sounds quite good. But for this example, and for what I normally do, I have square waves here. Just a personal preference thing, really. And one of the keys to this sound is the detuning. So if I have this in the middle, we lose that width on it, really. So let's pull this down again. And the difference there is, I mean, I don't even need to explain it. You can just hear it. So next up we have the cutoff. So the cutoff is a really important part in a warm bass line, because you have all this upper, mid and high content which you just don't use at all. So the cutoff's really important. Because it makes it low, basically. I leave the resonance really, really down as well, because I think that you lose some of that body and some of that power when you have the resonance up. Yeah, so there we go. There's the Minitaur, and it is quite a simple sound, really. It's the most important elements being the oscillators, 1 and 2, the fact that you should have 2 on, because it's the detunes between the two of them which gives it that width, and the cutoff. It's really not much more complex than that. I mean, obviously you can choose to have modulation in there from the LFO, but obviously you get some kind of modulation from when you bring in the kind of offsetting between the two oscillators. So yeah, you can choose to input some extra modulation in there. Let's try that. So yeah, that sounds kind of nice. So yeah, really, really simple sound to make. And now let's move on to Massive. So next up we have Massive. So another really important factor to doing a warm bass line, a low warm bass line, is using an octave which is quite low down, because if I go here, it sounds more like a grind bass line. So we go down a few octaves. So once again, we have a square wave here and a square wave here. So as you see, I've got this minus 0.1 semitones down and plus 0.1 semitones up. But if I revert this to 0 again, see, it sounds really plain. So we're going to go, well, we'll go down 100 here, or 0.1, and up 0.1 here. Once again, we have the filter. I've got a noise envelope here as well, which is not necessary. But yeah, once we bring down the cutoff on a high cut filter, sorry. You can go quite low down here, but this maintains some of that body and also resonance. I personally prefer it when the resonance is just down completely. So there we have it. It is really one of the more simpler basses and sounds that I create. It's just what you do with it, which is the hard thing, and the most important thing is to play around with it and make sure that it fits in with other elements of your track. But yeah, just 2 square waves, but as you saw, also 2 saw waves work, but square waves are my preference. Slight detuning on both of them, and then with the high cut you want to bring it down so it's quite low. On this one we have 414 hertz, but on the Minitaur it was actually even lower, but that's just because there are small differences in synths anyway. Yeah, I hope you found that informative. It was quite a quick tip, of course, but then there's not so much to explain about it actually. It really is quite a simple sound. Don't forget to like the video, drop me a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.